Who would be your all-time USA 4x2?
Oh, wow.
Noah had a response. I think he like quote tweeted it saying, yeah, well, I'm going to have that. We'll take it back.
Yeah, he's feeling a little left out right now. So all that matters is me being across the finish line before you. So that's my mindset now. Every single time I step on the track, it's just executing and beating everybody, bullying them.
So are you guys sharing the same track?
No, so we have, Dennis has a deal with a school, an academy called Martin Bird, and I think that's where Ben Simmons came out of.
Oh, Mount Fair. Yeah.
Place. So right. he has a deal with the school for many years, and he's been training there, which is pretty good. So, and then they're at NTC.
Oh, okay.
So they're there, we're there.
So they're like high school kids, like running around. Like, are you training, and then there's like high schoolers like doing prep? Like, what's that like?
It's not like the only time where there's high schoolers really coming around is when we're in the fall. So when we have fall training, we're at the grass field using one of their soccer fields, and then you got the kids going to lunch or breakfast or whatever. So they'll sometimes come out and start watching us do our fall training, seeing us kill each other. See the coach, seeing the coach kill us and all that stuff. Yeah. But pretty much once we get into spring and all that stuff, and it warms up a bit, we're on the track, and the only group there is the group where what's his name, Gerald, the high school coach.
Yeah.
The one that trained Insam.
Yeah.
He has his group there, so you have a few high school kids that are there, and we train at the same time. So we cross paths, talk every now and then, and just do our own thing.
Nice.
So. Yeah.
There you go. Awesome stuff. Well, thank you for sitting down with us. Hopefully you guys are enjoying sitting here with Kenny Bednarek, Olympic silver medalist in the 200 meters, silver medalist and the world champions in the 200 meters, coming in with a 100-meter personal best of 9:89, as well as a 200-meter personal best of, 19.67, which is the current world leading mark. Yep. Kenny, thanks for sitting down with us today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Well, want to start there with the 200-meter leading mark. Could you kind of take us back with, while you're at that race, what was the feelings? Did you know it was a big time, PR and all that, or was it something where you saw it and it was a little surprising for you?
I mean, I wasn't that surprised. My first initial thought was, hey, I crossed the finish line, I saw the 1967, but then in my head I was like, okay, it was windy, because it was a little windy beforehand. I think, a couple hours before there was a 3-something, 2-something or whatever, and the wind did die down a bit. So like I said, my initial thought was, okay, it doesn't count, it's a little too windy. And then once they handed me the world leading sign, I was like, oh, okay, like that's good. Like, but I wasn't surprised because, Courtney had the world lead and, we trained together. So I was like, well, he has it, getting it from Kenya, beat Tobago. And I was like, well, we train together. I know where he's at. I know where I am at. So my goal coming in was like, hey, I want the world lead. And, it's 71. So it was like, either I'm going to run 70 or 69 or whatever. But, I ended up breaking my PB and, getting the job done. But it wasn't a surprise at all. I knew I was ready.
Which marker was more exciting for you? The fact that, hey, you have the world lead right now, or you set a new personal best? Which one would you, did you prefer there?
I would say setting a personal best, because, the previous 2 years I've been dealing with injury, and we all know that I ran 1968 at the Olympics, and that was me kind of having my first official year as a pro, because, we had the whole COVID situation going on. So that was more important for me, just because it was saying, hey, I'm healthy, I'm good. And it was only my second race. So it was like, I have a lot left in the tank. And, this year, I feel like I'm going to get the job done and get the gold medal. Previous time I was cut short, almost made it because, Andre edged me out. So, just this year has been a good year. And seeing that this early means a lot to me, because I know by the time we get the trials and Olympics, we're going to set even harder times.
Awesome. And so you talked about the Olympics there. Something that I want to make sure that I always do whenever I have a lot of takes in track and field, a lot of great takes, in my opinion, a lot of bad takes. And so whenever here, I want to apologize for my awful take that I had back in 2021. Didn't pick you to even make the team in the 200.
In 2021?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, wow.
I didn't do it. And so I want to apologize now that I'm face to face.
That's okay.
I want to own up to it. And so I apologize for not not believing in you.
That's cool. I mean, there's a lot of people that have counted me out, and I just proved them wrong. I mean, even with this year, probably some people having the same doubts and all that stuff, and I don't even care about that. I'll just focus on myself and just prove them wrong, and I know what I got, what it takes. It's just a matter of just putting it together when the time is right.
Awesome. And so, like the Olympics, that was your first one, and it was a unique situation.
That whole thing was weird just because there was no fans, and waking up every morning taking a COVID test and knowing if you're positive or negative is just nerve wracking the whole entire time. So, but yeah, just not being able to go to opening ceremony, closing ceremony. As soon as we got done with the race, they're like, okay, get out. So it's just the whole situation was just weird. Stuck in a bubble. Only thing you saw was the track, and I wanted to explore, but we didn't have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. How refreshing was it, when you're making it out to Worlds, and when there were people, then, the next meet or the next year where, okay, now you finally have some fans, you got some people. Is there more juice in your sails? Or
yeah, there's a lot more juice. I mean, like when we were at the Olympics, we're at the finals, and I'm like, dang, like this is a finals, but it doesn't really feel like it. So I had to make sure just get in the zone and, put everything on the track. But yeah, like the year after, races after having fans, totally different feeling. You just got that whole atmosphere. It's hype. You feed off their energy. It's just so much more exciting. But yeah, it makes a big difference with the fans. And that's why I'm more excited about this year. We make the team, go to Paris. I'm just more excited just to have the atmosphere of like the actual Olympics and the fans and having friends, family, and all that watching me.
Yeah, I mean, I could imagine for 2020 or 2021, were you able to have any, we're talking to some members of your team that are here today, with you that are coming on out. Was anyone able to come on out, or was it really
it was just the coach, athletes, pretty much it. Medical staff, anybody that is like, hey, we need you here and then and now, that was pretty much it. But families, there's like nobody.
Jeez.
Yeah, so it was just weird.
So this will be a big one. Be able to have
exactly the real Olympics,
the real one. And so I want to dial it back before you became a pro for track and field and all of that. I want to take it to the origins. So you're coming out Midwest, Wisconsin kid.
Yep.
Frankly, not many track and field sprinters coming out of Wisconsin. Like, why track and field? Like, why is that something you wanted to do, coming from,
Well, I always said that football was my first love, but I knew track was the route I was going to go because every time I was on the football field and people were like, sometimes they like to go tackle for the feet and all in the legs and all that stuff. So I would always be like, whoa, like I let myself go. I wouldn't try to like go through two people trying to tackle me, and I was always thinking about the next season. So I think what really got me into it is just my coach, Ceseda. He made me start do the Junior Olympics my freshman year, and I got my butt whooped. And I think that just set a fire that just wanted me to, every single time I get on the track, I just want to improve and be the best. And I have my mom as well. She loved watching me. She used to call me her secretariat when I was running the 400 meters because I always gap everybody by the time I got to the first 200 mark and all that stuff. So I just always had a love for the sport. I always had a love for just running, and I had a lot of energy as a young kid. I was diagnosed with ADHD, so it was just kind of like a no-brainer. Like, I just love track and field, and it's one of the purest sports out there. And yeah, just like I said before, every single time I just want to be the best, and that's why I do track and field.
So you mentioned first love being football. So when you saw Devin Allen 2 years ago making the switch, going out, going for the Eagles, did you have any let me try and call up some people?
I did say, because I had a teammate. His name is Kevin Sneed, and he was I think he was working with the Saints in the Giants. He was on the practice squad, I think, with them. And I was literally saying like, hey, bro, like hit somebody up and tell them that, maybe when I hit a little bit older, like 28 or 29, like maybe let me be on special teams or something. It's like, I don't really care to be a starter, but I was like, I make a couple mil or something like it, just being a special teamer. Like, I'm fine with that. Because, the money is more big out there, and less likely. I feel like I'm less likely to get hurt if I'm just doing special teams. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously you have a risk of getting hurt any time when you're on the field, but I was like, I'd rather do that than be a wide receiver, doing a slant and then trying to catch the ball, not knowing if I'm going to get my head bite off by everybody else. Yeah. But yeah, I literally said that. I was like, man, maybe I should do that when I get, but not now. I want to accomplish my goals, and then later on, I was like, if I still got some juice in my legs, let me try to hit football up.
So if you could choose to play for any team and any number, like what would your number be and what team would you want to play for?
I would say the Packers.
Of course.
Yeah. I always had a dream. I mean, when I play Madden, I always put myself as the Packers. When I say number, I'd be number 8.
Okay.
Because that's the number I had in football in high school. Number 8 or number 12, but if I was with the Packers, I couldn't use 12 because of Rodgers. He's my GOAT. But yeah, I'd say that wide receiver, and yeah, just throw me some deep balls and I'll catch it.
There you go. Are you believing in Jordan Love? Is this going to be the
Oh
year?
yeah. I mean, honestly, what happened last season, I wasn't surprised. I mean, he started off a little slow. And I know a lot of fans were like, "Oh man, this guy stinks," and everybody was downing us. But I was like, I mean, it's his first official year. I mean, you can't. Not many people are gonna just get on and just be like Aaron or whatever. But yeah, like it just took a little bit of time, and then how he balled out second half of the season. And I was like, I mean, I knew it. So this year, yeah, very confident. I keep saying every year we're gonna make it to the Super Bowl. I feel like last year we had a chance because the 49ers is our kryptonite. So I was like, okay, we came into the game and I was like, if we lose, I'm not surprised. But then I was more upset because we had we almost had the win and then we kind of blew it. But then I was like, well, we have a lot to take in for the next season. And I like what they've done in the off season and in the draft. And yeah, like I think this year it's going to be a pretty good year for us.
Going to be the year going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Super Bowl, Super Bowl bust.
Super Bowl bust. There we go. Going to be a good one.
But I believe in Jordan Love. He's a very good quarterback, and he's not in his prime yet. Second year, so we'll see what he can do.
A lot of time. A lot of time. That's awesome. And so it sounds like this year overall could be just pretty big one. I want to go into what we got coming up here. So by the time this episode comes out, probably already happened, but right now we're recording it right beforehand. How are you feeling going into this meet? And what are some things that maybe you're looking to work on with your coach? What's it looking like?
I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm just gonna keep doing what I've been doing, just execute. Do what I did at Miramar, do what I did at Doha. Me and my coach, we've done everything on the track. So right now, there's nothing to really work on. It's just more so just executing the race that I've done at practice and every single meet that I've gone to. Just don't tighten up and all that, and I should get the win.
Awesome. And so I gotta ask, how many headbands do you bring with you on these events? And is it just one and you got to pick it, or what are we looking like?
So we have a bunch of headbands. I would say we have 2 or 3 as backup. But yeah, every place we go to, we want to have the headband have meaning on it. Like when we went to Doha, it had one of the buildings. I forgot exactly what it was called, but there's a structure building out there that is very cool, and it's kind of like shaped like that.
Okay.
So that was on the side, and then we had the fear no one, because I was joking around with my teammates, and I was like, this is kind of battle of the turn. Whoever gets off the turn first is gonna win. With it's not always true, but with the teammates, we were just saying that. But yeah, everywhere I go, we want to have the headband that has something from that place. Kenya, we had cheetahs. I forgot what Pre has. But yeah, meaning Kung Fu Kenny, all that stuff. But yeah, we come with like 2 or 3 every single time.
Nice. And so, where you mentioned Kung Fu Kenny. What's the origin? How we get that nickname, Kung Fu Kenny?
So coming into 2021, I wanted to stand out as an athlete, and I keep saying this with everybody else. Like with the women, it's a little bit easier to differentiate them because they have the nails, they have the hair color, and all that stuff. But when it comes to the men, there's not much. I feel like all you see is like Nike uniform, Adidas uniform. So for me, I'm not that type of athlete that wants to be loud and like, hey, it's me, all that stuff. So I was like, let me do something that pertains to me. And I mean, I'm a big anime lover, as my girlfriend was saying, and I love martial arts, kung fu, and I also wore the headband a lot. So we're like, hey, why don't we do Kung Fu Kenny? And Kung Fu Kenny has a set of values that pertain to me, which is humbleness, discipline, respect, and dedication. So I just want to live those values on and off the track every single day. And that's how we came up with Kung Fu Kenny. We had the little bow as well. And we started that too because, we were going to Tokyo. But now that just kind of stuck. It just kind of stuck with me, and the fans love it. So we're like, okay, this is what I'm going to be. Like, this is who I am.
So that didn't have that at all, like throughout middle school and in high school?
No. So this all started just because, the 2021 season.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, had a good year and it just stuck, and everybody loved it.
There you go. Well, that's awesome, man. And so now, where is it? Where you're talking about the branding of people, and like, hey, so women might have a certain, be able to do this a different way. Men, the men's side may not be able to. I went back. One of the tweets that you actually had a little while ago, you wrote down, "People don't follow brands; they follow people. Build your personal brand." Could you kind of share a little bit of like what you meant by that, and what you're trying to do when it comes to building that personal brand? Whether it be
I'm a Nike athlete, but I want people to know who I am. So that's why we started the whole Kung Fu Kenny thing. We also started our Road to Gold series because when you see the athlete on the track, like you can see the end product, but they don't see like who I am as a person. Like they don't see the journey that led up to that process. So, I'm trying to. Well, my team and I. Since 2021, we've been trying to just build my brand and get to a point to where everybody can know who I am. Like as soon as they see me, they're like, "Oh, that's Kenny Bednarek." We don't want to be in a situation where like, okay, well, I think because even when I won the silver medal, I think the first thing I saw was like, "Oh, Kenny Bednarek, silver medalist," and they're like, "Who is he?" Like nobody knew who I was. So we're just trying to build my brand to a point to where I can, just do like I kind of lost my train
people
of thought.
know you for you, and not just like us
me
as a sprinter.
Yeah. So it's important for me just to kind of get back to my community as well. So it's like anything we can do to build my brand, to show who I am as a person, to get people to inspire people, to motivate people. That's what we're trying to do right now.
Do you find it challenging at times? Because I could imagine, like, hey, you're a professional athlete. You've got, really dialed in training sessions. You're doing other, media deals and things of that nature, and also finding the time to, build this Kung Fu Kenny brand and to do this YouTube series.
It's hard. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't for my team. More so my girlfriend, and then all the other people that work with us. But yeah, like social media itself, it's another job, and you already know that. Like that's your job. So you got to put your heart and soul 24 hours. 24/7 into it. But yeah, like it's a hard gig, especially just trying to crack certain algorithms and all that stuff so people can actually see your content. And you just got to figure out how you can go on YouTube, do all this, put great content, but then YouTube doesn't push it, so you don't get like 100 views or something like that. But yeah, I think the first year when I started it in 2022, I had a tough time because I wasn't used to it. But then coming into last year and then this year, like since I've been doing it every other month, every other week, it's gotten a little bit easier and easier. So, and I also I wasn't that good when it came to like talking in front of the camera. So it just kind of took practice and repetition, and then eventually I got a handle of it. And then it's a lot more easier now than it was before. But yeah, for sure, it's tough, but we figured out how to balance it out.
I know exactly what you mean. With the there'll be some things where I'm about to post it. I'm like, this is gonna do numbers.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
And then it flops. I'm like, what
exactly.
the hell?
Yeah. It's also the thing where it's like, I think I was just talking to Aaron Brown about this today. Is like, people like to see funny things. So you know how TikTok is. It's just like simple, funny, dumb things, and that goes for millions. But then you put something like you were saying, that quality, mature, all that stuff, something that could be inspirational, and then it won't do that well. And it's like, okay, like this is dumb, but so you're gonna have to find that balance in order to like do your stuff, but maybe sometimes do a little bit of the other stuff that people like, just so it can kind of get your page pushed, and then they can also see the other stuff that you're putting down.
Yeah, it'll be like, hey, you'll have this big thought out piece, and then you'll just have, like you mentioned, Aaron, he'll just like get in front of a camera and say, this person's rolled. And it does like 5 million views. It's like, you just said one thing, and it did numbers. So it's like, it's a hard, kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to go into, you mentioned your YouTube series. So I went through, before we were talking to the camera, I watched every single YouTube video that you guys had. A lot of great content there. One thing that I was curious on, you mentioned it's in the opening for your that you say in all of your videos, especially in the beginning, of you said, I want to be the 100, 200, and 400 meter champ. And so I want to know, is that still the goal?
I mean, this year, I'm trying to be the 102, but I think in my career, at some point, I want to be the champ for all, 3 events. Because you've done your research. I used to be a 4-2 guy until I came down to Florida and started training with Dennis's group. And I ran 44.73 in junior college that 1 year. So I know I have the capabilities of running 43 seconds or whatever. So, my goal, I've been bugging him about it every other year. Like, hey, let me run the 4, let me run the 4. And I did it this year for training purposes, but like I've kind of forced his hand. I was like, hey, let me run the 4. And he's like, nah, you don't need to do it. And I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna do it anyways. So yeah, like this year this year the goal is for the 2 and the 1, and I think I get the job done if I execute at the right time and peak at the right time. And the goal is to get the job done this year, and then next year I was saying like, hey, like let me do the 400. Let me just train for that, see what I can do, and try to win a championship in that. And I know I have the talent and the capabilities of doing it, but like I said, it's just like all a progression. Like, okay, goal 1, then goal 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to be a world champ, Olympic champ, and all 3 of those events at some point before I retire.
When it comes to those like events, like how is it that like you're going through and making sure that, hey, I'm keeping focused on, hey, this task at hand, or selecting the event. Sorry, like, hey, do you see, hey, the 400 meters? It's really talented this year, so like let's go after it now, or the 200. Oh, there's a lot of. Are you looking at the field?
I don't look at the field. I just look at myself. I mean, it doesn't matter who's in the race. Like I know what I can do, and I just have to compete. I mean, you could have 4 or 5 guys that are running 19.5s. I don't care. Like, if you running 19.5, I gotta run 19.4 to beat you. That's my mindset. Like, I've never been the athlete that wants to duck away from competitions. I always embrace it because if the athletes themselves, if the competition is good, that's gonna force me to become a better athlete. And that's why I love track and field, because it's just a pure sport. Like, hey, I gotta figure ways in order to get faster and to beat you guys, and you guys gonna do the same vice versa. So it's gonna be a cycle to where you're gonna try to get one over the other athletes every single time. So yeah, like I've never looked at it where, okay, it's weak right now, let me dip in and see what I can do.
Mm-hmm. It all evens out at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
So it doesn't matter.
I'm gonna have to see them eventually, so
yeah. Might as well just see it now. Why
yeah,
not?
exactly.
Yeah, there you go. And so, you're talking about the with the shoot, I lost what it was. But so if you're going up against and you're preparing, getting ready for this cycle, what is it that right now you're trying to work on with your coach and become the best at? What are some techniques and things that you're like, okay, this is where?
For me, it's just keeping things simple. I mean, the speed is there, but it's just a matter of, hey, when you're in the line of fire, just just relax. Don't do too much. And I think that's what I did last year. I put a little bit too much pressure on myself. Plus, I came back from the injury, so it's kind of like, I guess my mind was like, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. But this year, I'm just going on the flow state and just having fun. And when it's time to compete, it's like all the work has been done at practice, so there's no reason to try to do anything extra. So for me and Dennis, it's just a matter of just like I keep saying, just executing and not doing too much.
Yeah, my coach would I'm sure it sounds like a similar thing. He's like, hey, the hay's in the barn. Like, you've done the work.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You're at the meet.
No, honestly, if you're thinking about, oh, I got to do this, it's too late, It's too late. Like, you already lost. I mean, I'm not saying you're going to lose, but it's like the work has already been done. So there's nothing that you're going to do. Nothing can change the outcome, You've done all the work.
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned... Okay. You mentioned you started off with the 1 year of JUCO that you were going through. We've seen a couple athletes right now that either got their start in JUCO, Fred Curley, Andre DeGrasse, or had gone through it, all with you. Like, what did you learn about yourself when you're doing that, or what helped you become a better athlete starting that?
I mean, honestly, when I initially went there, I was ashamed because there's a concept of like, okay, you go to JUCO, it's because you're dumb and all that stuff. But then I ended up embracing it, and I mean, I just learned that no matter where you're come from, like you can accomplish anything. And for JUCO, it just helped me out a lot. It made me more disciplined because there's literally nothing there. At Tumwa, Iowa, I don't know a place to really what it's similar to, but like, yeah, there, if you want to go and have a party and go and drink like college kids want to do. You have to go, I think, on an hour drive to Iowa City. So it's like, and I'm not the athlete that loves to like go out and party and all that stuff to begin with. So it was like, if I really wanted to do anything fun, I had to go for a long drive. So I was like, nah, I'm here for a goal. Stay disciplined, work on the school, and then work on track. And I mean, that just helped me become a better athlete coming out.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I went to a school that was also in the middle of nowhere. Not quite in the middle.
Where'd you go?
Mount St. Mary's University.
Where's that?
Really tiny school in Emmitsburg, Maryland.
Oh, okay.
It's like an hour and a half away from Baltimore. An hour away from DC. It's super tiny. Not a huge. It's like the second smallest Division I track and field school.
Oh, wow.
In the nation. Like it's tiny, and so yeah, you would have to go 25 minutes to get to the nearest like town. Hey, you want to go to McDonald's? Fantastic. 25-minute drive.
Oh, wow.
it didn't matter. Yeah. It was far from everything, which was tough, but it's you stay locked in.
Yeah, exactly.
What is it you got going on? So that's something that was helpful. So want to get to some off the track stuff that we got going on. So you mentioned big anime fan. We see the PlayStation 5. You got some Naruto skin going on there.
Yeah.
What got you into some of this anime and all this stuff?
So honestly, my sister got me into anime. She was into Yu Yu Hakusho. I think like the very old anime, and then there's some other one. And I think me and my brother just kind of stumbled upon it and like saw her watching it, and then we started watching that. But it's like, oh, that's not for us. And then we ended up doing our research and just looking. And I think what really got me into it was watching Dragonball Z and then Naruto, just because of the story and how the characters developed from kids to grown-ups. And then Dragon Ball Z, I think, stuck with me a lot more. It's because it's more about surpassing your limits and limitations. And I've always loved anime just because of just the story, and then just how fight scenes and all that stuff. I mean, you can watch regular movies, but animation is different because you can do like things outside of this world. Yeah. And that's what I loved about it.
All right, so if you were to compare yourself to a character in Naruto as well as one in Dragon Ball Z, which characters would you compare yourself?
So in Naruto, I'd say Kakashi. He's my favorite character because he's just a chill dude and likes to just vibe, and I feel like I'm kind of like that. Like, I like to chill and just vibe and all that stuff. And then in Dragon Ball Z, I'd say more like Vegeta, because you got Goku. He's more like carefree, more kiddish and all that stuff. But then Vegeta is more serious and wants to get the job done. And I feel like I'm similar like that too. Just, hey, I'm here for the work. Let me get this done. And then after that, I could do, have fun a little bit later.
Yeah. Were you, so with Vegeta, were you a kid that was yelling, "It's over 9,000" back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
That quote was going around all the time in my high school.
Yeah.
That's a good one. And so, also, I wanted to touch on, you have a unique or an interesting, upbringing with you. You're a black man in Wisconsin, coming from an adopted family there. Just some unique. Did you notice any, like, whether it be difficulties or just uniquenesses of growing up in that situation?
I mean, I've said this, I think, before, as a kid, I didn't notice like anything really difficult of me growing up. Like, my mom raised me right. She raised all four of us the way she wanted us, and we turned out good. But when it comes to being a black man in Rice Lake, Wisconsin, I mean, it wasn't a big deal. I mean, I think I had like 2 or 3 other friends that were black, and we did our things, and I made a lot of friends that were white. Like, nothing, like, color wasn't really a big deal in Rice Lake, Wisconsin. Like, everybody respected each other and loved each other. If anything, the only person that probably dealt with something weird was probably my mom. But yeah, me growing up as a kid in Rice Lake, like, there was literally no issues. Like, it was just normal kid growing up, chilling, having friends, having loving mom and all that stuff. And yeah, it was just normal to me.
Yeah, you speak a lot in your videos of like wanting to give back to your family, to your mom. I think you even mentioned you bought a house.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
I think it's 2 years ago. I think.
Yeah. What made you? I mean, obviously everyone loves their family. Hopefully, like what made you want to do that? Like a lot of people say, oh, I want to buy my mom a house, and then go out and do it.
I mean, because the job that she did with all four of us it was amazing. I can't imagine adopting 4 kids, single parent, and just doing that for 18 years. Like a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of focus. What she did was just incredible. And I mean, yeah, like I just wanted to give back to mom. I wouldn't have been in the position I am today without her. I mean, she was my number one supporter and still is. And I guess it was another thing. We lived in when we moved up to Wisconsin. I ended up making a few mistakes. Growing up as a kid, I had a few issues, and I made a few bad decisions, and that made us kind of go into living in a place that we called the roundhouses. It was like the houses were actually round. It was like an apartment kind of thing, and I would say the reason why we were there is because of my decision making when I was a kid, and I just wanted to get back, and hey, like I had the money. And I love my mom, and the reason why we were in this situation is because the decision I made, a couple years back. So I was like, hey, like, let me, get back to my mom and buy you a house. And I mean, that's what we did, and I mean, she loved it, and I'm just, just wanted to get back to her.
Yeah. If you were able to go back and tell, 12, 13-year-old Kenny, like, hey, by the way, in about 10 years from now, you're going to be an Olympic silver medalist, fastest man in the world. You think that's something you would have believed, or would have been like, nah, get out of here?
I think it's something I would have believed. Because when I was younger, I always said when I was watching Bolt and all them in 2000, what was it? 2012, I think.
2012, okay.
Yeah, okay. I think that's when one of the first times I actually watched, the worlds or Olympics and all that stuff. But yeah, like I always said, I wanted to be Olympian, and I remember we had an Olympian come to our school when I was in high school, and I forgot who it was, but all my friends were saying, "Oh, you're gonna be Olympian," all that stuff. It didn't really become like legit, like, "Hey, I'm about to be Olympian," until obviously I was in that situation. But I always had in the back of my mind, like, "Oh, like this is something I could pursue." I'm fast, and everybody says it, and I mean, if I had me telling me, "Hey, you're gonna be Olympian," like I would say, "Okay," like. I had the work ethic and everything to, keep grinding, and yeah, I definitely would have believed it.
Nice. And so when you made your post, I think you posted right when you got the world lead. You had was it a text? I think it was to.
Oh yeah.
Could you kind of give some background on that text? The text exchange.
So I mean, yeah, like I said, I felt really good, and my mindset was like, hey, my teammate that I trained with ran 19.7, got the world lead. So, if he running that, like, I know I'm there too. So my goal was like, hey, I want to get the world lead, but let's hope this win works with us. And that was the same thing for the 100. I was like, I want to get the world lead for the 100. And then, it was 2.2. I think it was 2.2. So, out of the legal limit. But yeah, like, I already knew that I was in the shape and form to do it. And I just needed everything else to work with it. And yeah, you just posted, it's like, hey, when I win this race, you just post that.
Yeah.
So that's what we did.
We saw Noah had a response. I think he like quote tweeted it saying, yeah, well, I'm going to have that. We'll take it back.
Yeah, he's feeling a little left out right now. So, but yeah, I mean, I love that he said that. He's a fierce competitor, and yeah, like he wants to get it, then let him have it. I mean, I'm not gonna roll over, and I'm gonna take it all this year. That's my goal. And we had a little friendly banter, and that's what the sport needs.
Yeah, that's something that it's like, hey, having that back and forth of like, okay, you got it, you want it, like, okay, it's gonna be when you finally touch the track.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll make it exciting.
But I was also joking around. I'd be like, man, I should just mess around and just show up to that race and say, hey, I'm here. Hey, I'm here.
Yo, line up. What's up?
Line up right now, yeah. So, but yeah, he said he's going to get it back then. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get it again. That's my goal. It's just, yeah, you run faster. Next time I step on the track, I'm just going to clip that.
It's good. It's so. Do you have in your head when you're competing, like going to the Olympic trials here, or when you eventually get to the Olympics, of like, hey, it's probably going to take an American record to win this 200, or is it going to be just I just got to beat the guy on the day to become that champion? Obviously, it's like, hey, you're in that fastest man in the world right now. You're in that conversation. Is that something you think about? Or
I mean, I used to think about it like that, but I think that's where I was making a mistake. I was more focused on time than actual competing. So now my mindset is just, hey, when we step on the line, all that matters is me beating you. I mean, whatever the time it takes, it could be 20:00, 19:2, 19:1, whatever. But all that matters is me being across the finish line before you. So that's my mindset now. Every single time I step on the track, is just executing and beating everybody, bullying them.
a little bit of bully ball.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just more focused on that, and I think that's going to help me get the job done more so than just focusing on the times.
Awesome. So as we're closing out, I got a couple quick hitters for you that I want to go through. So first, you mentioned you're a football guy. If you could line up or have your dream track and field backfield. So who would you want to have that's a professional track athlete as a quarterback, running back, and then you'll give you 3 wide receivers. So 2 on the side, then 1 slot. What athletes would you have? You can include yourself in it, obviously. So who would you put?
Quarterback, I'd say, I guess Noah Williams. I watched your thing and I thought he said something about him slinging the ball, so I'll trust that he knows what he's talking about. So I'll put him there.
No, you better not be lying to us, by the way.
Exactly. So I'll put him there. Backfield, I put, and this is any track athlete, right?
Yeah, any. Yeah.
I'm gonna say Omanyala.
Okay.
Because he built like a rugby player, and he fast too, so he can take a beating going up the line of scrimmage. And then wide receiver, I have me, I have Grant, and I need somebody in the slot. I'm gonna say Coleman.
Coleman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see that video when he was at Tennessee of like that he ran like a 4.1?
Oh yeah,
back in the day.
Yeah, so
yeah, I remember seeing that video. I was like, oh yeah, talking about that. Do you feel any type of way when you see these football athletes talking about football speed, track speed, Tyreek Hill, I'm the fastest man in the world? Is that something that you even care about? Or is it just like, nah, I know it's
I mean, I don't really care about it now, but I've always been saying, because you remember when DK lined up at that Mount Sac race? I always wanted Tyreek to actually line up instead of just talking so much. I was like, man, I wish this dude could actually line up so we can.
He did that 160 that one time.
Yeah, but he did it against who? Who did he do against?
Exactly. No, you're right.
I want him to join a race where he has the actual elite pro sprinters, and then we can just show the world like, hey, like, this is what he got and this is what we got, and then after that debate will be closed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really care about it. But if we ever had a chance to do that, sign me up. I'll be there.
There you go. All right, sign them up. Don't run in a Masters track meet again.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much, yeah.
45-year-olds. So, heard little birdie told me you're also a big J. Cole fan.
Yeah, I'm a big J. Cole. Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite J. Cole song of all time? You can go top 3 if just picking one is hard. But
I would say, well, the one that comes to my head, I want to say it's my best all time, but one that I really love is "Pride Is the Devil." Actually, I like that one.
It's a good one.
But yeah, that's the one I got in my head right now.
Are you playing any of those things like during the warm-ups or?
Oh yeah, I play a lot of Kendrick and J. Cole in the warm-ups, but I also try to put a mix of Afro beats just to kind of bring that little calmness back in, because my coach, my college coach Laurent, he said, I think 2 years ago, where he's like, okay, your body, when you wake up for, an event, your body already knows that something's going to happen. That's why you get nervous and all that stuff. So he's like, listening to music is cool, but it's going to amplify it. So you might as well have some balanced music to where you can have that music where you get hype, and then that music can kind of bring you back down. So I try to find a balance every now and then.
Yeah, even it out a little bit.
Yeah.
I remember when I had a track meet, and I was listening to motivational speeches. Like, what is it, like, you have to, like, when you want to breathe as much as you want to win. That's I was like listening to that. I was like, I was too locked in. And then so I was like, all right, yeah, no, I never want to do that again. I had my worst performance of all time.
Yeah, because you get just too amped, and then I feel like when you're too amped, that can lead to more mistakes.
Exactly. another thing, in your YouTube video, you mentioned that your goal was to buy a boat. Did you end up buying that boat yet? And if so, if not,
I haven't yet. So I did say at Tokyo, I was like, yeah, I want to buy a boat. And then I got the silver, and then I bought a house instead, which was a better investment.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually
Value.
So eventually, I'm trying to buy a boat. I haven't bought one yet, but yeah, we'll see what happens after this year. Either it's a boat or another house or jet skis or something like that. We'll see.
Right.
But eventually, I'll have a boat.
Love it. Love that. And then got some fan questions that I got here for you. So I got 3. One from fellow teammate Brendan Stewart.
Oh boy.
He says,
Brandon, B-Stew.
B-Stew. He says, who is the best Madden player in the group?
Me. You got me, B-Stew, Kyrie. I mean, she knows about it. I'm in the whole league right now. And right now I'm 6-0, so I would say I'm pretty good. Like I'm the best in the world.
Best in the world.
Yeah, I'm the best in the world.
All right, so we take the world. You heard that? Best in the world. What's the go-to team? Do you do randoms, or what team do you play with the most?
Packers.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
Obviously. No, moving on. And so then this is from Speedy Kareem. He says, "How do you stay so disciplined?"
I mean, in the beginning, I wasn't that disciplined, but it just, having a routine and just making sure just to follow it. I mean, you just have to be disciplined. Like, if you have a set of goals that you want to accomplish, you always need to have that up on the wall as a reminder. Say, hey, like, if I want to stay up all night playing video games, you got to look at that and say, hey, like, who you think my competitors are doing that? No. So make sure I get my 8 to 9 hours of sleep. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, you have your goals, and do you think you're going to accomplish those goals if you end up, slacking off? Mm-hmm. Awesome. So, yeah.
Last one that I got for you. This was from Evan Rush. He says, who would be your all-time USA 4x2?
Oh, wow. I'm going to put me in there, I guess. Me, Noah, MJ. This is 4x2, right?
4x2, yeah.
Just for US?
Yeah, just for...
Oh, no, okay. No fantasy. Okay. So, yeah, me, Noah, MJ. And the last one... Shoot. I'm thinking. Tyson Gay.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
You guys breaking some records with that? I got to, right?
I mean, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, honestly, we were trying to get that 4x2 at World Relays, and we're trying to break that record, but it ended up not working out, so... Yeah. But yeah, the record.
That reminds me, that was a question I meant to ask. But World Relays, you're able to get on that relay. I know you've been talking about wanting to be in the relay pool, finally getting in there. How do you feel now? Like, hey, you're solidifying. Like, yo, I put some time. We made this. How do you feel now about your chances of being on that relay pool? And what was it like just being there?
I mean, I'm feeling pretty good after. I mean, I had the Twitter fingers every other year about not being on it, and it was just about it. Getting the experience and just showing them what they missed out on. And I did my job. I ran really good splits too. Handoffs they're okay, but there's always more room for improvement. But yeah, just that whole event, I loved it. I mean, I had a lot of fun, and I think it was we were all familiar with each other. It was me, Noah, Kyrie, and Courtney, and I mean, the results showed like we were just having fun out there. We didn't complicate things, and we just were ready to roll. But yeah, I had a blast out there. That was the first time I was actually in Bahamas, like actually in the island itself. We went on a cruise a while back, but we were on the outskirts. So yeah, I just enjoyed my time, had fun, and just executed, and yeah.
Excellent. Love that. Well, hopefully we'll see you in the 4x1 coming up here with the Olympics. But thank you so much, Kenny, for sitting down with us today. Really appreciate it. Where can people go to follow you if they want to catch up on more?
They can follow me at Kenny Bednarek on Instagram and Facebook. That's where you should find me at.
Awesome. Love that. And any YouTube videos that we got coming up soon with your channel?
We're actually having a videographer come here for so we should have something coming up pretty soon after this.
Love that. Awesome. Well, thank you. And then thank you for everyone for watching or listening. It's been another episode of Track World News Podcast. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Peace. All right. Thanks, man. Oh, there we go. Appreciate it.